What if a government experiment opened a portal to another dimension? The moment reality hesitated, nothing fell from the sky. No alarms screamed across cities, no headlines warned the world. Instead, the most dangerous event in human history happened quietly, underground, behind locked doors, inside a facility that officially did not exist. At precisely 3:17 a.m., an experiment crossed a boundary humanity never knew how to respect. Reality didn't shatter, it hesitated. And in that hesitation, something else noticed us. This isn't a story about aliens. It isn't about time travel or science fiction fantasies. It's about what happens when curiosity meets power, and power pushes too far. This is what would happen if a government experiment opened a portal to another dimension. The idea that started everything. For centuries, humans believed reality was solid. One universe, one set of laws, one direction of cause and effect. Then physics complicated everything. Equations began suggesting that our universe wasn't alone, not separated by distance, but layered. Extra dimensions folded into existence, vibrating at frequencies we couldn't perceive. Invisible, not because they were far away, but because we weren't tuned to them. To scientists, this was theory. To governments, it was opportunity. If another dimension existed, it meant new energy sources, new materials, new physics, new weapons. A classified project was approved under layers of secrecy. Black budgets, compartmentalized teams. No one scientist allowed to see the full scope. Officially, the goal was observation, a micro-disturbance, a temporary thinning of space-time, a peak, not a doorway. They believed reality was passive. They were wrong. Why it had to be a government? Private companies chase profit. Universities chase knowledge. Governments chase advantage. This experiment wasn't funded to understand reality, but to own it. If another dimension could be accessed, even briefly, it could change warfare, energy, and dominance forever. The risk was justified as necessary. Ethical concerns were buried under urgency. Warnings were dismissed as theoretical paranoia. The mindset was simple. If we don't do it first, someone else will. And so the experiment moved forward, not because it was safe, but because it was possible. The moment the portal opens, there was no explosion, no countdown echoing through speakers. Instead, something subtle happened. Sound bent. A low vibration filled the room, felt more in the chest than the ears. Lights dimmed without losing power. Clocks disagreed by milliseconds. Then space folded inward. Not a hole, not a tunnel. A rupture. Edges didn't align. Depth became meaningless. Looking at it made the eyes ache. Sensors went wild. Time readings contradicted each other. One camera recorded movement before it occurred. Every person in the room felt it simultaneously. A sudden, instinctive fear with no visible cause, as if something ancient had just realized it was no longer alone. When reality refuses to close, emergency shutdown protocols activated instantly. They failed. Power was cut. Backup systems disengaged. The facility went dark. The portal remained. Worse, it stabilized. The breach no longer depended on the machine. It fed on space-time itself, vacuum energy, quantum tension, reality strain. Attempts to contain it caused structural damage. Walls cracked, gravity fluctuated, objects floated, then slammed violently back down. This was no longer an experiment, it was a permanent feature of existence. Humanity hadn't opened a door, it had torn a seam. The first things that crossed over, nothing physical came through at first, but something moved. Shadows appeared without light, sound echoed before it was made. Reflections lagged behind reality. Sensors detected patterns, not random noise, intentional structure. Then matter crossed, but it didn't arrive whole. Fragments phased in and out, shapes collapsed under observation, forms refused to remain consistent. Biology couldn't classify it, physics couldn't stabilize it. These entities weren't invading, they were learning, testing how our reality worked and how to exist within it. The human mind breaks first. The first casualties weren't physical, they were psychological. Personnel near the breach experienced identical dreams, places they'd never been, sounds with no language. Sleep became impossible, memory fractured. Time felt uneven, stretched, compressed, unreliable. Some lost hours, others felt detached from their bodies. Multiple subjects reported the same hallucinations independently. This wasn't stress, it was overlap. The human brain wasn't built to process layered realities. Thought patterns destabilized, identity weakened. People didn't go insane, they lost coherence. Containment fails silently. The public wasn't told, but the world felt it. Magnetic fields fluctuated, navigation systems drifted, animals migrated incorrectly. Electronics malfunctioned in clusters. Brief leaks surfaced online, distorted audio, corrupted footage. They vanished within minutes. Governments denied everything, but reality doesn't care about denial. Something had shifted beneath everything, and the planet knew it. The other side responds. The portal changed behavior. Energy flow reversed. Patterns repeated deliberately. The breach widened slightly without input. This wasn't a chaotic dimension. It was structured, stable in its own way, and whatever existed there understood boundaries. The portal stopped behaving like an accident. It behaved like a reply. Why we can't fight it. Military forces secured the site. Troops, tanks, surveillance drones. It changed nothing. Nothing worked. Nothing stopped it. Weapons don't target dimensions. Explosives risk tearing space-time further apart, creating cracks humans couldn't comprehend. Evacuation zones expanded endlessly, swallowing cities and research outposts. Satellites lost calibration simultaneously, predictive weather and orbital models failing all at once. For the first time in history, humanity faced something with no battlefield, no way to contain, no strategy to win, no borders to defend, no enemy to negotiate with, only consequences. Every decision made was tentative, experimental, a desperate attempt to engage a force whose rules humans could barely understand. The realization settled in. We were no longer players in a controllable game. The portal dictated its own terms. When the portal becomes permanent, the breach stopped growing. It stabilized, not healed, not closed, just present. Reality bent subtly around it, shifting space and time in ways humans could detect only with precise instruments. Weather patterns shifted globally, storms appearing where none were forecasted, currents in the atmosphere behaving unpredictably. Gravity fluctuated slightly across continents, enough to change the trajectory of rivers, the path of tides, even minor animal behavior. Human history split cleanly, before the breach, after the breach. The world didn't end, but it no longer felt familiar, predictable, or safe. Every map, every compass, every calendar, all assumptions had to be reconsidered. The portal had become a permanent scar on existence, a silent witness to humanity's limitations. The impossible decision. Theoretically, the portal could be closed, but doing so risked catastrophic collapse, localized space-time failure, sudden tearing of dimensions, or total global destabilization. The choice was unbearable. Live with it, study it, adapt around it, or attempt closure and risk erasing everything humanity had built, everything that had ever existed near the breach. Hesitation became policy. Observation, analysis, and containment were the only feasible actions. Every moment spent deciding risked widening the breach. Every delay risked discovery of what lay beyond by accident. The portal stayed open, silent, constant, eternal. Humanity was forced to live alongside something incomprehensible, something that could not be negotiated with, reasoned with, or contained. What the portal changes forever. Science is rewritten from the ground up. The rules humans thought absolute are provisional. Physics becomes conditional. Reality is no longer assumed stable or singular. Religion fractures under unanswerable questions. Philosophy collapses, then slowly rebuilds around new concepts of existence and multiple layers of being. Human certainty evaporates, replaced by cautious speculation. We are no longer alone, not in space, not in time, not even in our own universe. Knowledge itself becomes tentative. Every discovery is weighed against the unknowable, every conclusion provisional. Humanity learns humility on a scale never before imagined, facing evidence that the cosmos contains forces entirely outside our comprehension. The most dangerous discovery. The experiment wasn't about curiosity, it was about control. But control was never possible. We didn't open a portal to explore another dimension. We opened it to learn that something else has always been close enough to watch. Waiting, observing, learning silently. And now that the doorway exists, the real question isn't what came through, it's what now knows how to follow. If this idea sent chills down your spine, imagine what could be lurking just beyond our perception. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think exists on the other side? And if you want to explore more impossible, untold what-if like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another journey into the unknown.